Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva. Jaya Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Jaya Radha Madhav. Jaya Nishringa Dev, Jaya Nishringa Dev, Jaya Nishringa Dev, Jaya Nishringa Dev. Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. On such a rainy day, thank you for coming. One thing that calmed me down was I thought, no one's going to come because it's so rainy. Anyway, Hare Krishna. Oh, we're reading today from the 10th canto, chapter 7. Who remembers the title of chapter 7? Very good, thank you kindly. So the killing of the demon Trinivata on text number 6. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. So before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and Srila Prabhupada, translator and commentator. Because if we didn't have his translation and his commentation, what would we understand about Bhagavatam? We're so indebted to Prabhupada in so many ways. By regular attendance in the classes of Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So we have a community of multilingual personalities here, different languages. English perhaps isn't your first language. So what does irrevocable mean? We say these prayers, sometimes we say them quite mechanically, but we need to think what they mean. What does irrevocable mean? It can't be replaced, it can't be destroyed, ever, ever. So by attending the classes in the Bhagavatam, by reading the Bhagavatam, the progress that you make is always there in your transcendental bank account. It can never be lost. Even there might be some slip on the path and some deviation, perhaps slight or whatever. It's never, the progress that one makes by hearing the Bhagavatam and by chanting and by taking prasadam and by all the processes of devotional service, it's never lost. That's a good deal, as they say, no? If you're interested in business, transcendental business, it's a good deal. So therefore, I am going to start the class any minute now, but so therefore, we should try to get as much Krishna in our life as we can. We think, oh, I'm so young now, I have plenty of time, I'll do it when I'm old. Take advantage of the time now. Okay, I'm going to start class. Om Agyana Timidandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chaksu Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master very kindly forced open my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge, and I'm totally, eternally indebted to him, life after life, and beg for service at his lotus feet. And I'll admit I'm a little nervous in Mayapur, so I'm going to say one other prayer. Hare Krishna. This is to remind me who I really am, and perhaps it'll remind you who you really are. It's the Buddha Stuti prayers. Naham vipro na charana patir na pivaisho na sudro naham varni na chagriha patirno vanasto yatirva kintu projam nikila parama ananda punam ritadbir gopi bharta padakamalam dasa dasa anudasa. I'm not a Brahmin, for sure. I'm not a Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra. I'm not a Brahmachari, Grihasta, Vanaprastha, or Sannyasi. What am I? I'm the eternal servant of Sri Krishna, the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, the master of the gopis. By nature, I and you are all Krishna's eternal service. That's our nature. But by misfortune, I've been inimical towards Krishna from time immemorial. That's a long time. Inimical, not just apathetic. Inimical towards Krishna, inimical, against, contrary towards Krishna. I want to be Krishna. Hare Krishna. Since time immemorial. And then I wonder when something happens to me, if I break my hand or cut my fingers off, or I get cancer, or I get this, or somebody dies in my family, I think, why is this happening to me? That's why when this prayer came to me just the other week or so, I thought, oh yeah, because I've been inimical towards Krishna since time immemorial. Is there any wonder that different difficulties have come in my life? But even so, in spite of that, we have the transcendental knowledge to cross over any difficulties. And because of identifying with my temporary material body, I've been continuously rotating in the cycle of samsara, suffering the threefold miseries of material existence. Now, by the causeless mercy of my beloved spiritual master, the translation is, I fully realize, but even for me it's hard to say that. I somewhat realize that I'm Krishna's eternal servant. I'm an individual spiritual being completely separate from my gross and subtle body. No, my mind also, that's not me. Thank Krishna. By the mercy of my spiritual master, I've obtained the good fortune of serving him and assisting him in his eternal service to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha Shama Sundar, in the blissful spiritual realm of Goloka Vrindavan. Hare Krishna. So our verse today is number 6. Autantikau sukya mana manasvini Aukantika sukya manas manasvini Samagatam punjati vrajau Samagatam punjayati vrajo kasa. Thank you. Samagatam punjayati vrajo kasa. Naivashrinodvai ruditam sutasya sa. Naivashrinodvai ruditam sutasya sa. Rudam stanarti charanav udakshipat. Rudan stanarti charanav udakshipat. Aukanikau sukya manasvini Samagatam punjayati vrajokasa. Naivashrinodvai ruditam sutasyatsa. Rudam stanarti charanav udakshipat. Please chant. Otanika sukya manas manasvini Samagatam punjayati vrajokasa. Naivashrinodvai ruditam sutasyasa. Rudam stanarti charanav udakshipat. Otanika sukya mana manasvini Samagatam punjayati vrajokasa. Naivashrinodvai ruditam sutasyasa. Rudam stanarti charanav udakshipat. Otanika sukya mana manasvini Samagatam punjayati vrajokasa. Shrinodvai ruditam sutasyasa. Rudam stanarti charanav udakshipat. Ladies. Autanikau sukya mana manasvini Samagatam punjayati vrajokasa. Naivashrinodvai ruditam sutasyasa. Rudam stanarti charanavudakshipat. Otani kausukya mana manasvini. Samagatam punjayati vrajokasha. Naivashrinodvai ruditam sutasyasa. Rudam stanarti charanavudakshipat. Otani kasukya mana manasvini. Samagatam punjayati vrajokasa. Naivashrinodvai ruditam sutasyasa. Rudam stanarti charanavudakshipat. Aukantika ausukya mana. Mother Yasoda was very busy celebrating the Uttana ceremony of her child. Manasvini, very liberal in distributing food, clothing, ornaments, and cows, according to necessity. Samagatam, to the assembled guests. Pujayati, just to satisfy them. Vraja okasa, to the inhabitants of Vraj. Na, not. Eva, certainly. Ashrinot, did hear. Vai, indeed. Ruditam, the crying. Sutasya, of her child. Sa, Mother Yasoda. Rudan, crying. Stana Arti, Krishna, who was hankering to drink his mother's milk by sucking her breast. Charanau Udakshipat, out of anger, threw his two legs hither and thither. So again, English as a second language for many of you. Hither and thither means he tossed his legs about. He got angry and he went, pew. Okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: the liberal Mother Yasoda, absorbed in celebrating the Uttana ceremony, was busy receiving guests, worshiping them with all respect, and offering them clothing, cows, garlands, and grains. Thus, she could not hear the child's crying for his mother. At that time, the child Krishna, demanding to drink the milk of his mother's breast, angrily threw his legs upward. Purport: Krishna had been placed underneath a household handcart, but this handcart was another form of Sakatashura, a demon who had come there to kill the child. So the acharyas explain a little bit about this handcart, because you might think, oh, a handcart, it might be like one of those flatbed rickshaws. But actually this was a worshipable handcart. It was made, it actually was the abode of Lakshmi, it was a central part of their worship in their house. So it was very ornamented, very sturdily constructed. Somebody pointed it out yesterday, I think, was how in one class, how the handcart, it wasn't just plastic, put together, easily broken or anything. It was very sturdily constructed. And it was a worshipable object in their house, like an altar. So Krishna had been placed under that handcart, and we'll see what happens next. Now, Sakatashura, this demon, he wasn't the cart itself. Sakatashura had a ghost form, a ghostly, subtle body, and he entered into the cart. And there's an interesting story about Sakatashura. Sakatashura, in a previous life, was, and here you'll get to know a little bit more about me. I can never remember exact details, but he was a relative in the family of Hiranyakashipu, and either a nephew or some down the way, not a son, and he was very strong. He had a very strong, stout body, and he was very proud, because sometimes people with very strong, stout bodies, or actually all of us, have a different reason that we're proud of ourselves. Somebody might be very intelligent, somebody might be very beautiful, wealthy, whatever, and somebody might not have anything and still be very proud of something or other. But anyway, so this demon, whom I forget his name in his past life, sorry. But he was very stout and strong, very proud of his body. So one time he went to the ashram of Lomasa Muni, and he was knocking down trees and showing the world how strong he was, and Lomasa Muni cursed him. You're so proud, you're so arrogant, better that you just take a form of a ghost. So that immediately woke him up, just like, what is that similar to? Yeah. Nalakuver and Manigriva, who got cursed by Narada Muni, but unfortunately, I won't go there. They didn't wake up right away. They woke up after some time in their curse. But this person, Sankatashura, in his previous life, when he got cursed, he woke up right away. He said, "Oh, please forgive me. Is there any way I can be delivered from this curse?" And as we have heard in many different instances, once a curse is uttered, it cannot be retracted, but the sages sometimes modify it in some ways. So he modified, Lomasa Muni modified his curse that he would be delivered by the Lord in his next life. So there now in Krishna Leela, he's become a servant of Kamsa through different means, and Kamsa has sent him to try to kill Krishna. That's Kamsa's folly. He's always trying to do that. Try to send so many personalities to kill Krishna. And still, he doesn't quite understand. So who was the first demon that Krishna killed? Putana. So then when Putana was killed, he still didn't think, oh, Krishna is very invincible, because even as a small baby, he was able to kill Putana. Sometimes I like to bring show and tell items to class so that you can get the idea. And I considered for about 3 seconds trying to get a 3-month-old baby to be here so that you could see, because some of us are familiar what the size and strength of a 3-month-old baby would be, and some of us might not be so familiar. 3 months is very small, very soft, very tender. Anyway, so that was he killed Putana before he was 3 months old, because now he's 3 months old and he's killing Sakatashura. He's already killed Putana. So anyway, Krishna's exhibiting his supreme, excellent powers without endeavoring at all. I just remembered I only read one line of the purport. I'm going to get there. Okay. He's not endeavoring. In other forms, in other avatars, in other avatars, Vamana avatar, this avatar, Nishringa avatar, he gets really strong nails to kill Hiranyakashipu. Vamana has to stretch his leg up. But Krishna, he doesn't have to do anything. Because he's what? Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, right there. All the potencies in that little teeny, whatever, little form or large form. All his potencies are there. Srila Prabhupada says in Sri Ishopanishad, in the end verses of Sri Ishopanishad, that Krishna could lift Govardhan Hill with the little pinky of his left hand without practicing weightlifting. He didn't have to practice. He just because he's all potent. Sorry, I better get back to the purport. Hare Krishna. Just another thing about Sakatashura. So when he entered the cart, so this is the point. So Krishna, Mother Yasoda wouldn't put Krishna in a dangerous place. She put him under this very sturdy cart. There was lots of people there. He was actually, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Krishna was placed in a cradle under the cart. So there was plenty of space under that very sturdy cart, you know, for him not to be disturbed or stepped on or whatever by all the people that are going about. And as we know, with the crowds, when the crowds come and they get fuller and fuller, it's hard to see what's at your feet because there's so many people there. So if there's some unevenness on the floor, or if somebody leaves a bag on the floor and there's lots of people, oftentimes it could be dangerous. You could trip over it. But anyway, so Krishna's under the cart very safely and sleeping very soundly to a certain point. Sakatasura enters the cart in his ghostly form, but when he does that, it pushes the cart down. Somehow or other, you can't ask me why, his subtle form had weight, and it pushed the cart down, so his little legs, they were only probably proportionately that long, could touch the cart and knock it over. Okay, so now on the plea, but he woke up. He was asleep soundly, but now he woke up, and on the plea of demanding to suck his mother's breast, Krishna took the opportunity to kill the demon. Thus he kicked Sakatashura just to expose him. Although Krishna's mother was engaged in receiving guests, do you remember, those of you with good memories, do you remember the Sanskrit word for describing Mother Yasoda as very liberal? Yes. Manisvi. She was very liberal. And how did she exhibit her liberality in taking care of the guests? What did she do? It was explained in the verse, things that she did to welcome the guests. She gave them different presents, like yeah, so many things. Like ornaments, garlands, grains, flower garlands. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also mentions sandalwood paste, sindoor, and scented oils. So she was liberally giving out these things, and busy. She was busy. A tad distracted, you could say, in contemporary slang English. Okay, although Krishna's mother was engaged in receiving guests, Lord Krishna wanted to draw her attention by killing the Sakatashura, and therefore he kicked that cart-shaped demon. Again, in Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's comments, he says, "Oh, you can't hear me crying? Then maybe you can hear me when I knock the cart over. Maybe that will attract your attention." So, such are the pastimes of Krishna. Krishna wanted to draw the attention of his mother, but while doing so, he created havoc, not understandable by ordinary persons. In Srila Rupa Goswami's Padyavali, there are many, many beautiful prayers by different personalities. And one of the prayers, previously I had memorized in Sanskrit, but I'll give it to you more or less in English. It says, "I offer my respectful obeisances to wonderful, playful, mischievous Krishna, who can, if he so desires, make a mountain just like a pile of dust. He can make fire cool. He can make other things too, this blazing fire. And he can make land turn into water and water turn into land. He can do anything. And we offer our respectful obeisances to him. Wonderful, playful, mischievous Krishna." Okay, so these narrations are wonderfully enjoyable. And those who are fortunate are struck with wonder upon hearing of these extraordinary activities of the Lord. Although the less intelligent regard them as mythological because a dull brain cannot understand them, they are real facts. These narrations are actually so enjoyable and enlightening that Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami took pleasure in them, and other liberated persons, following in their footsteps, become fully jubilant by hearing about the wonderful activities of the Lord. So recently I attended the Govardhan retreat ceremony program in Vrindavan, and Jagat Tarini Mataji was giving a dramatic reading of Lord Brahma stealing the calves and cowherd boys. So she started off her first class, her first reading, by saying, sometimes you have to put on new ears. We've heard these pastimes a few times, perhaps in your sojourn in Krishna consciousness, and we have to be always enthusiastic to hear them again. You have to put on new ears each time, as if you're hearing them for the first time. And because Srimad Bhagavatam, because Sri Krishna is the supremely potent personality of Godhead, and these books are living scriptures, if you put on new ears, if you're enthusiastic, if you're enthusiastic to hear, you'll hear something new every single time, a new aspect, you'll get a new nuance, a new slant, a new understanding. It's there, and we just have to make that endeavor. Srila Rupa Goswami gives us Upadesh Amrita, Utsahan Nischayat Daryat, by enthusiasm, by determination, and what else? Patience. Don't forget the patience. You need a good dose of patience. But more than your patience, you need enthusiasm and determination. Because with enthusiasm and determination, everything will come. Because not by a promise from a wimpy, no Shakti person like myself, but because that's the promise of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, just for those of you who have been here for a few verses, we're only up to text 6. So if you might remember, and I'll remind you now, how Maharaj Parikshit introduced this subject. So our subject is, the chapter is called The Killing of Trinavarta. But here first, before he kills Trinavarta, there's Sakatashura, then there's Trinavarta, and then there's opening his mouth. But actually, you know what? I'm not really sure it's in that order. It might be in a different order. But anyway, those 3 subjects are in that chapter, okay? So, but Maharaj Parikshit, so listen to how he starts the chapter. This is a little bit of a review, okay? First and second verse. King Parikshit said, "My Lord, Sukadeva Goswami, all the various activities exhibited by the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are certainly pleasing to the ear and the mind. All of them are. Simply by one's hearing these activities, the dirty things in one's mind immediately vanish." Now, we said a prayer in the beginning of the class that was similar, that the dirty things in the heart are almost completely destroyed by hearing. What's another prayer that you all know? Nasta Prayeshu Abhadresha, yes. Another one. Lord Chaitanya prayer. Chaito Darpana Marjanam. All of the verses, all of the prayers, they're saying the same things. The heart, our consciousness, our consciousness has become covered. Why? Because we've identified with different bodies and we're trying to enjoy. So it's covered. We're forgetting what? The Buddha Stuti prayer. We're forgetting I'm an eternal servant of Krishna. And not only have I forgotten that, I've forgotten that I, each one of us, has an individual, unique relationship with the Lord. Individual. It's different than the next person. It's different. It might have similar aspects, but it's different. It's unique. Srila Sanatana Goswami says in a comment to the 7th canto, in the story of Lord Nrsingadev killing Hiranyakashipu, and there's a verse in the comment, Srila Sanatana Goswami says that Krishna has unlimited qualities. Nectar Devotion lists 64 qualities just to give us a hint, like a kind of like a map, so that we can have a clue of some of Krishna's qualities. But Sanatana Goswami is explaining that Krishna has unlimited qualities. Why? He has unlimited qualities to attract each person to one particular aspect of his quality that they're uniquely attracted to. So, if any of you very brilliant personalities can count the number of people in the world today, or count the number of people that existed in the past, or count the whole living, all the living entities, Krishna has a unique quality for every single living entity that attracts them to him in that unique way. Now that is mind-boggling, no? That's Krishna's potency. So, King Parikshit is saying all the incarnations of Krishna, all of their stories are very attractive. The story of Lord Ram, Vamanadev, so attractive, but especially attractive, he says, he says, generally we are reluctant to hear about the activities of the Lord, but Krishna's childhood activities are so attractive that they are automatically pleasing to the mind and ear. Thus, one's attachment for hearing about material things, which is the root cause of material existence, vanishes, and one gradually develops devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Attachment for potency and creation. Prabhu, can you look up on your phone 2.10.1? Bhagavatam 2.10.1, Sukha Uvacha. Oh, that's good, thanks. He says, and these are the 10 topics, thanks, of Srimad Bhagavatam. Atra sargo visargascha stanam poshanam uttaya manvantaresh anukatha nirodha mukti ashraya. Thank you. So this is Sukadeva Goswami explaining in the second canto what are the 10 topics of the Bhagavatam. He's talking, Sukadeva Goswami is relating the creation of the world, the sub-creation by Brahma, this, that, the Manus and their histories. And now we're on Ashraya, the shelter. This 10th canto, the Samam Bonam, is the shelter. So Parikshit Maharaj is saying, yes, I've heard all of those stories and they're wonderful to hear and very enlivening, but particularly attractive, particularly potent are these pastimes and activities of baby Krishna. And it was mentioned yesterday in class, the Damodar pastimes and Satyavrata Muni's prayer, glorifying, may those childhood activities of Krishna always remain in my mind. I don't want anything. I don't want Paramatma realization. I don't want this. I don't want that. I want those childhood activities of Krishna to remain always in my mind. And thus, by putting those childhood activities of Krishna always in our mind, automatically all the other distractions that come into the mind, sometimes through the phone or other social media inputs, fall away. They fall away. So we have to make it a priority. What's your priority? Think about this. We're entering the new year. Often, as the days go by, in your life, you're a little more hesitant to make New Year's resolutions because you've experienced for the past 67 years, you never really did keep your New Year's resolution for more than 3 or 4 days or whatever. But anyway, this year we can make a transcendental attempt to make our priority Krishna. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu has a great saying. He has many great sayings. I don't mean to limit him with one great saying. Many great little snippets of sayings. Our first priority is to keep our first priority our first priority. That is so deep, right? Because it's always gets bumped off. Your first priority, I'm going to hear and chant more attentively. I'm going to read more about Krishna this year or this week or today. And then, you know, it rains and you can't get your clothes washed and the gas is out and you can't get your food cooked and, you know what I mean? And then it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and what did you do today? Well, I ate breakfast and I ate lunch. Sorry, that's me, that's not you, I'm sure, you know? And it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Make your priorities. What's your priority? If your priority is to hear and chant more about Krishna, do it. Vaisheshika Prabhu also has many great tidbits of sayings. He said you have to wedge it in. Wedge, okay, wedge. I was going to explain wedge because I knew you wouldn't all get what a wedge is. A wedge is, okay, so you have a triangle, right? So if you take the triangle and you lie it on its side, it's thin at one end and fatter at the other end. Sometimes if you have a chair or a table that's uneven and there's one leg that goes, you stick a wedge underneath it because you don't know, is it 1 centimeter off or 1 millimeter off? And you stick the wedge until you get the right length and then the table's balanced. So wedge, in relation to wedging in as much Krishna consciousness as we can, put as much Krishna consciousness in your life as you can. And do it gradually and do it repeatedly. Wedge it in because, in case you haven't noticed, time goes really fast. In a flash, it goes. And perhaps you'll all live long, healthy, senses under full control lives. And perhaps some of us are going to die tomorrow or this afternoon or when I fall down the stairs, going down the stairs today, you know? It could happen at any time and we're all thinking, oh, that person just left his body. That was so shocking. Oops, I can't go there. Hare Krishna. Krishna's kind. So wedge in as much Krishna consciousness as you can now. So Vaisheshika Prabhu, he's recommending, chant a chapter of the Gita. It only takes 10 minutes if you have a little chapter, a shorter chapter. 10 minutes, chant the Sanskrit, chant the English, chant a chapter a day. Or one thing that affected me, one Kartik many, many years ago, one devotee said, Kartik time, it's a time for increasing your hearing and chanting, and there's so much extra benefit. Why not chant 1 extra round during Kartik? That's so easy, isn't it? 1 extra round. One of somebody came up and said, Prabhu, you should start chanting as many rounds as Srila Haridas Thakur chanted a day. You'd say, thanks. Go talk to that person, you know? But if they say chant 1 extra round, so I chanted 1 extra round for the month of Kartik. And I thought, oh, okay, I can keep that. So I kept it. And then the next year I chanted 1 extra round. And it was so easy. And so it's just a little recommendation. Wedge in as much Krishna consciousness as you can while you're Krishna conscious. Have you ever noticed how the modes of nature, one day you're really strong and enthusiastic, and the next day, this morning it's raining. Oh, I can't come to the temple, it's so far. Whatever. Hare Krishna. You know what I mean? The modes of material nature are constantly tossing and turning, and sometimes we're strong. While you're strong, add it. Okay, I think I'm going to stop, if that's okay with you, even if it isn't. Hare Krishna. Is there any discussion or comments or questions that you'd like, or clarifications? I'm sure there's somebody here that could clarify something. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So is the Shakatasura, he was not sent by Kamsa. He was not one of those who came to kill
Everyone
Krishna.
Was sent by Kamsa.
Oh, okay. So because I thought you mentioned he was kind of realized once he was cursed.
But Kamsa was the instrument. You know, he was cursed, you know, this and that, that's true. But Kamsa was, somehow they all connect up to Kamsa in different ways. Garga Samhita explains a lot of the connection of how Kamsa conquered or subdued the Keshi demon, he was doing this and the different things. So he was Kamsa was the agent for him to live out his cursed life. And therefore get the highest benefit by being kicked by the Lord. That just reminded me another thing about the cart. It's going to come up in a few more verses, but that cart, when it fell apart, there was not just, it explains, Srila Prabhupada explains in his purport that there was small utensils on it, different metals. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives a little more detail. He says that they were all silver and gold items on the cart. So when they tipped over, they made lots of noise. And the cart was so sturdily constructed that it wasn't just one person that put the cart back together. It was many stout and strong coward men who had to reassemble the cart. And Krishna, with just his little teeny leg, kicked it off. Anything else?
Mataji, I just remembered one more thing. The name Adhokshaja is also related to this pastime because he was under the cart, so he was kind of saved. It was like another birth. So he was born under this wheel again. So underneath the wheel, Adhokshaja name, one of its meaning is because of this pastime.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Prabhu?
So did Rajavasis were able to see the Shaktasur? Because I saw the picture in Krishna book, there they show that demon is there on that card. So were they able to?
Were the Vrajavasis able to see? Is that what you're asking? Not that in the verses in the Bhagavatams it explains that they didn't see. That's how they didn't see, and they didn't. That's why they're asking, how did the cart fall apart? Was it the influence of a demon or a planet or this or that? So my understanding, they didn't see him.
But we have that picture in our Krishna book, in that we see.
Transcendental vision. Prabhu, over here? Or, okay.
Hare Krishna. Interesting that he was a ghost. I was always wondering. I knew that he was ghost who entered in the cart. We hear this. But then when you destroy this cart, ghost is free just to go. How is that? Must be on a subtle level, something was happening.
Yeah. How do you kill somebody in a subtle body?
Like
that's our Adhokshaja Krishna. He's all powerful. I don't have any more understanding if anyone else wants to explain it. But that's Krishna. His potency is inconceivable. Prabhupada said in the purport that we read, our dull brain thinks it's mythology because we can't understand. Sometimes if you take a piece of cardboard, okay, 1 by 1 by 1 foot by 1 foot, or whatever your proper measurement is, sorry, and you poke a pinhole in it with the pin, and you hold it up to the light, and you look through it, and you say, oh yeah, I can see. That's what it's like. Our consciousness is so, and our understanding, mine particularly, is so small that we're getting a glimpse of it through the Bhagavatam, but the heart's not cleansed properly just yet.
I don't know, is it mentioned what sort of liberation he got? Because that means Krishna killed also his subtle body. It's not just...
Yeah.
So that means he pure soul remains. So is it mentioned what was his destination?
That I haven't read that, but if somebody knows his destination. Interesting, just to add, although it's not quite what you're asking, Manigriva, Nalakuvara, right, in that story, when they come out of the tree bodies and they offer their prayers to the Lord in their glowing bodies, and then they say, may our words always glorify your activities, and may our hearts and minds always engage in your service, etc., etc. And now, please excuse us, we have to go back to our planet. That's a little odd, isn't it? There they are in front of the Supreme Lord. But the Acharyas explain that they weren't purified enough to stay there just then. But that's not the end of the story for them. As you read in Gopal Champu, Srila Jiva Goswami's Gopal Champu, those devotees, Nalakuva and Manigriva, somehow or other, they take birth in Vraj, in however it's arranged, in the next life, whatever. They take birth in Vraj, and they become bards. They become those people that glorify the pastimes of Krishna, even in Braj. And they go to Nanda Maharaj's assembly and speak the pastimes of Krishna in front of Krishna. And he's so affected by it. So, what we're hearing in the Bhagavatam, oftentimes Bhagavatam is full and it's complete, but not always all the details are there. Just like a person might say, but Radharani's name's not mentioned in the Bhagavatam. There's a reason. And those self-realized souls, they can see her name mentioned here and there because they have that purity of heart and consciousness. So my guess is Sakata Shura gets a glorious destination, just like Putana. Aho Bhakyam Kalakana Stutam, something. You know, who can be more glorious than Putana? She came. That is such an incredible, encouraging pastime. She came to kill Krishna. And Krishna saw, oh, did he see the evil intention? No, he took her good intention of offering her breast milk, and he elevates her to a position, datri, like a nurse, like a mother. So if Putana can get that position, what Sakatashura's got? I don't know exactly, but it's something glorious. And that same glory is there for, that opportunity is there for all of us. Let's take advantage of the good fortune that's fallen on our heads, by coming in the association of the devotees in the holy Dham. Yes, Vegavati Prabhu. Oh, yeah, okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. As always, your class was so encouraging, especially about the value of attending and Bhagavatam class and reading regularly. So it's the first time I've heard you give a class where you didn't quote your favorite encouraging verse, and I just hope that you'll be so kind as to say it for all the devotees.
She's an old friend, so she happens to know my favorite verse in my Bhakti Shastri course. Nectar of Instruction, verse number 3. Not the verse, it's actually a quote from the purport. I'm sorry, I didn't call on you, sorry. In the purport, third verse of Nectar of Instruction, Srila Prabhupada says, the process of bhakti is so pure and potent that once having begun, one is dragged to ultimate success. That's bhakti. That's Srila Prabhupada. That's Srila Prabhupada's potency. Prabhu, I'm sorry. Hare Krishna. I'm not sorry. I'm happy, but I'm sorry I neglected you for so long.
Hare Krishna. No, I didn't see the name Shakata Shura in any of the translations or the or the actual text itself. I didn't. It's in the purports, but
it's in the purports. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his comments says Shakata is the name of the cart, is what they called the cart. That's all I know, that he was in the cart. I don't know. But another thing is when Srila Prabhupada would translate, and again, I don't know the details of the Sanskrit terms of how he would translate. There's literal translation, and then there's the bhav. So Srila Prabhupada could understand. Just like Trivakra, remember the Trivakra? That's how in this Kubja, the story of Kubja, she's never called that I remember. Or it's not often called Kubja in the Sanskrit slokas. She's called Trivakra, and Srila Prabhupada calls her Kubja. So, if anyone else has...
Perhaps because he was a ghost, he was invisible, and he took on different forms, maybe.
My understanding is that he didn't take on the form of the cart, but he entered into the cart, and therefore his subtle body pushed the cart down. Yeah. And that is one of the characteristics of the demons. They have these different cities, the 8 perfections. They can shape change, as Harry Potter's lady used to say. They can change their shapes at will. She must have read the Bhagavatam a little bit. Okay, so they can change their shapes. So there's many, in the purports to the Bhagavatam, the different stories. Right now I'm forgetting which story it is, but one demon considered, maybe it was in the Bakasura, Agasura, or one of them. One of the demons considers, this one previous to me took this form, and then this one took, it's Trinavarta. It's going to come up with Trinavarta. Because he's thinking, Putana took a form, and this one took this, so I'm going to be formless in the shape of a whirlwind. So he could consider which form that they were going to take to try to kill Krishna. Anything else you'd like to add, Prabhu? Okay. Mataji and then Vegavati and then... hold on one second. We're going to give you the mic. We got passed to the wrong person or whatever. Here it is, right here in front of you. Sorry.
I read it maybe some years ago that all these stories, pastimes represent the killing, represent some cleansing, some anarthas. So what kind of anartha is killing?
Yes, very good question. And if I had access to my library at home, I could have looked up in Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's, which one book he wrote that it tells all of the things, but I just have my phone and I couldn't look it up. But I've heard, and I only heard that Sakatashura was, does anybody know which one Sakatashura represents? I think it's baggage, but we'll have to ask someone else because I didn't look. I mean, I'm familiar with that. That's Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and it was mentioned way back in our story of Putana. When Lakshmi Nrsimha Prabhu gave class, he was saying that she represented pride and this and that. But I'm not 100% certain. Vegavati Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. No, I was just going to remind that in today's purport, Prabhupada referred to Shakatasura as a cart-shaped demon.
Oh, okay.
So it's same idea. It doesn't mean but he's called like that. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu. One more up here. Hold on. Patience. As a person who listens often to class at home, it's really important that you speak into the mic because it's so agitating when you can't hear what's going on. Yes, Prabhu.
Because he was in this demon, he did not have a gross body, and he entered the cart, and he was already a asur. He had the qualities, demonic qualities, and he got that form Sakta. So is it that's why he got the name Saktasur? He had the body of a cart.
That's our limited understanding. Yes, it wasn't his body. The cart was already there. He entered into it, but he became associated as the cart demon. That's my understanding, as limited as it is, okay?
He was a ghost.
He was a ghost. He was a ghost, subtle body.
He possessed the cart.
He possessed the cart, right. And we know, well, we've heard that ghosts usually prefer to possess a living entity because then they can act out. But anyway, that was his choice.
Thank
okay?
You. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for your kind attention. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.